What is going down, YouTube? Mo here. Today I'm at the Mount Nebo Cemetery in Denver, Colorado. I'm here today to check out a couple of markers that I just happened to run across. Thought I would tell some stories and maybe try to help to remember some of these people and what they did in their lives. So here we go. Matthew Seth Newman, 36, Colorado native, passed away January 13th, 2012. Rabbi Richard Rains and J. Telrav officiated at the January 15th service at Temple Sinai. Interment followed at Mount Nebo Cemetery. Feldman Mortuary made the arrangements. Matt will be missed most of all for his quirky sense of humor, his dedication to helping others, and the strength and determination he demonstrated throughout his illness, the family said. Mr. Newman was born June 7, 1975 in Denver to Gary and Stephanie Polikoff Newman. He was raised in Aurora and lived here until he graduated Eagle Crest High School in 1993. He attended UNC, where he received his bachelor's degree in psychology and math and his MA in pupil services. Mr. Newman was interested in becoming a college dean and spent the next several years working on college campuses, including Southwest Missouri State University, the University of South Dakota, the University of Maine, Stony Brook University, and Mississippi State. Joining him in his travels was his wife, Jennifer, whom he married on May 27, 2001. They had two daughters, Hillary and Madeline. He always said that Hillary was his dream come true and Madeline was Daddy's little girl. He returned to Colorado in 2008 when his illness no longer allowed him to work. Mr. Newman loved reading, playing on his computer, listening to music, and watching sports. A fanatic New York Yankees and Buffalo Bills fan, he traveled to both stadiums several times to watch his favorite teams. He was also a parrot head and loved listening to Jimmy Buffett and attending his concerts. In addition to his parents, wife, and children, Mr. Newman is survived by his grandparents, Shirley and Gerald Polikoff of Colorado Springs, sister Jenny Ball of Spring Hill, and niece Emily Ball, and nephew Jacob Ball. I couldn't find any information on exactly what type of illness took his life, but nonetheless, it sounds like he will be very, very much missed by his family and friends. This is Mr. Meyer Blinder. He was a businessman. He was the son of a Brooklyn candy store owner from Ukraine. He was the co-founder of Blinder Robinson and Company, a now defunct penny stock brokerage firm. After returning from military service during World War II, where he earned a Purple Heart in Normandy, France, he started a photo supply business and later joined his brother Morris in operating a coffee vending company. In 1969, he and his brother went into the stock brokerage business and opened Blinder Robinson and Company in New Jersey City, New Jersey. The business was moved to Denver, Colorado in 1977, and by 1982, he had become a millionaire with the largest penny stock broker-dealer operations in the United States. Also in 1882, based on investigations initiated by the Securities and Exchange Commission and prosecuted by the Department of Justice, a Denver federal judge found that Blinder Robinson and Company deceived investors, and the ruling was appealed. Blinder was known as a flamboyant character who made significant contributions to charitable organizations and had a soft spot in his heart for small pet businesses. In February of 1990, he and 4 others from Blinder Robinson and Company were indicted by a federal grand jury for racketeering and securities fraud. In 1992, in a nationally followed trial in Las Vegas, Nevada, he was tried for a penny stock scam and eventually found guilty on 6 counts. As a result, he was sentenced to 46 months in the federal penitentiary and in 1995 was released 6 months early for good behavior. At one point, Blinder was noted as the highest paid executive in Colorado. By the time he entered prison, he was penniless as a result of the Securities and Exchange Commission seizing all of his assets. In later years, he had suffered from Alzheimer's disease and died as a result of that. He is buried here with his wife, Lillian Blinder, who died about 5 years before he did. He's pretty well known around these parts. And I guess if you ever remember Blinder, Robinson and Company, then you'll remember this guy. On December 2nd, 2017, the sanctuary of the Hebrew Educational Alliance was filled to overflow capacity for Koby Gruenwald's bar mitzvah. 50 days later, on January 21st, 2018, the sanctuary filled once again, this time for Koby's funeral. Koby's death has broken our hearts, Rabbi Dolan said as he began his eulogy. He paraphrased Elie Wiesel, who said that times like this, silence is appropriate. He called Koby a very sweet child, fun, full of life, who would make his friends laugh. Koby loved children and babies, and even after his illness, he would go up to people and tell them how cute their babies were. Koby loved music, even in the later days of his illness. The musical service at HEA became Koby's spiritual home. In those services, he drummed his heart out. Even after he got sick and lost the use of one of his hands, he drummed one-handed. When he was sick, his love of music manifested itself in his own show at the Seacrest Studio at Children's Hospital, where he hosted the Koby Karaoke Hour, to the delight of other young patients at the hospital. He also had the opportunity to perform at Red Rocks during the week after his bar mitzvah. Koby showed courage and good cheer throughout his illness. He was a jokester, a performer, and just a kid who believed that his loved ones who passed away would be waiting for him in heaven. Koby was spiritual, even in his darkest days. You rejoiced in prayer, said his grandmother Sonia, whom he called Oya. We lived as fully as we could these past 22 months. In the past 2 years, Koby revealed to us who he really was. We didn't get to see our dreams fulfilled, only a glimpse of who he was, of the man he was destined to be. So Yaakov Koby Rani Gruenwald lost his 22-month battle with brain cancer a half hour before one of his services began on Friday, January 19th.